The ICC was established to hold individuals accountable for heinous crimes such as genocide and crimes against humanity. In recent months, the court has resumed its investigation into alleged atrocities committed during former President Rodrigo Duterte's controversial anti-drug campaign. Garma's testimony revealed shocking details, including allegations that Duterte offered cash rewards for every drug suspect killed. This claim is not just a footnote in history. It paints a grim picture of a systematic approach to violence that has left thousands dead. According to government records, over 6,200 drug suspects were reported killed in legitimate operations. However, human rights organizations estimate that the actual number could be as high as 30,000. This discrepancy highlights the urgent need for accountability and justice for those who have suffered under this brutal campaign. Despite these grave concerns, Secretary Bersamin's declarations make it clear that the current administration is not inclined to cooperate with the ICC. He emphasized that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is unlikely to submit Garma's findings or any related materials to the court. This decision raises critical questions about our commitment to human rights and accountability on both national and international stages. The National Union of People's Lawyers has called for the submission of these findings to the ICC, arguing that they provide crucial evidence of a pattern of killings and complicity among law enforcement. The implications of ignoring such evidence could be detrimental not only to our international standing, but also to our moral integrity as a nation. As we reflect on these developments, we must consider the broader implications of our stance on international justice. The refusal to engage with the ICC could signal a disregard for human rights and accountability, undermining our commitments to uphold justice for all Filipinos. In conclusion, while we navigate this complex landscape, let us remember that justice is not merely a legal obligation, it is a moral imperative. We owe it to the victims of this tragic war on drugs and indeed to ourselves to ensure that their stories are heard and that accountability is pursued. Let us advocate for a future where justice prevails over impunity, where we stand firm in our commitment to human rights, both at home and abroad. No ICC comeback for Philippines despite Garma's drug war exposed, said Bersamin. Manila, Philippines. The Philippines will not rejoin the International Criminal Court or ICC, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin said on Monday. Bersamin made the statement amid calls for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to submit the recent House Quadcom investigation findings, including the retired police colonel Royina Garmas exposed to the ICC as part of its case built up on crimes against humanity allegedly committed during former President Rodrigo Duterte's bloody war on drugs. During the investigation, Garma dropped a bombshell that Duterte allegedly offered cash rewards for every drug suspect killed in his administration's war on drugs. Garma bears monetary reward range under Davao Drug War. The Philippines will not return to the ICC, Bersamin told Palace reporters through Viber. Based on this, the president is not expected to change his mind and now referred the Quadcom matter to the ICC, he added. It was the National Union of People's Lawyers, or NUPL, that urged Marcos to submit the Quadcom investigation materials to the ICC for inclusion in the prosecution case built up on crimes against humanity committed in the Philippines. The ICC must take cog- cognizance of any materials and relevant information about the war on drugs, the NUPL said. It is also noted how Garma's testimony established a pattern in the killings and pointed to the most responsible behind all the incidents. Her statement ties up why all those senseless killings on the ground happened, and on another hand, why policemen are complicit and willful participants, it said. Hers is a powerful testament to Duterte's murderous schemes from Davao to the rest of the country that confirms other statements made by insiders as well. It is a damning evidence and hopefully the first of many, it added. During Duterte's term and the infamous drug war, government record shows that at least 6,200 drug suspects have died in legitimate anti-drug operations. However, many human rights groups claim that the actual number of individuals slain during the drug war can be between 12,000 to 30,000. A University of the Philippines or UP study on July 23, 2021 and even revealed that the drug war had killed an estimated 2 people each day. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow citizens, today we gather under the weight of a tragic event that has deeply affected our nation. On October 5, a Filipino national was executed in Saudi Arabia for murder, a consequence of a case that has lingered for several years. This moment calls for reflection, compassion, and a commitment to support those who are suffering. The Department of Foreign Affairs has confirmed that extensive efforts were made by the Philippine government to prevent this execution. We sought every possible remedy, legal assistance, diplomatic appeals, and even a personal letter from President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to King Salman of Saudi Arabia. Despite these attempts, the victim's family refused to accept blood money, a traditional form of compensation under Islamic law, which ultimately led to the execution being carried out. This situation is not just about legalities, it is about lives, real people with families and dreams. The Filipino who lost his worker overseas, often in challenging environments. President Marcos expressed his sorrow over this incident, stating that the government tried everything to save his life. His words resonate with us as we acknowledge the limitations imposed by foreign legal systems and cultural practices that differ vastly from our own. The strict laws in Saudi Arabia left little room for negotiation or mercy in this case. As we mourn this loss, let us also extend our thoughts and prayers to the family left behind. The Department of Migrant Workers is committed to providing support during this difficult time, including assistance for the deceased school-aged children and facilitating the repatriation of remains. Moreover, we must recognize that this tragedy highlights broader issues surrounding the treatment of overseas Filipino workers. Many seek employment abroad to escape poverty but face risks that can lead to dire consequences. It is imperative that we advocate for better protections and support systems for our citizens working overseas. In closing, let us remember the Filipino not just as statistic but as a human being, someone who had hopes and aspirations. May his story serve as a catalyst for change, urging us to work tirelessly to ensure that no other family has to endure such pain. Together, we must strive for justice, compassion, and understanding as we navigate these complex realities. In a case that dragged on for several years, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says that the government tried everything to save the Filipinos' life. Manila, Philippines, a Filipino on death row in Saudi Arabia, has been executed. The Philippine government said on Tuesday, October 8. We regret to confirm the news that a Filipino has been executed in Saudi Arabia for murder. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, said in a statement. The Philippine government provided legal assistance and exhausted remedies to save the Filipinos' life, including sending a presidential letter of appeal to Saudi Arabia's King Salman. But the victim's family refused to accept blood money in return for forgiveness of the Filipino, and so the death penalty was meted, the DFA said. According to the Foreign Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega, the overseas Filipino workers pleaded guilty to the crime. The victim was the OFW's Saudi Arabian business partner, and the incident happened in 2020. The victim was asking our kababayan or the countryman for his share in the profits or something, and they had a money dispute, and that led to the confrontation, De Vega told reporters on Tuesday. The Filipino was sentenced to death in 2022. There was no opportunity to make specific offers for blood money since the victim's family refused to meet with the Filipinos' lawyers. De Vega said the president wrote an appeal to Salman in August 2023. The following month, Saudi Arabia agreed to postpone the execution, but the kingdom did not inform the Philippine government beforehand that the execution was pushing through. They did not tell us, "Oh, we inform you that tomorrow we will execute." They never did that, sadly, said De Vega. We tried everything. The Filipinos' case had been going on for years, according to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Kakda. We tried everything for many years. Many years, the Saudi government really tried to look and to be sure that the judgment was actually deserved, Marcos told reporters. Saudi Arabian authorities considered the Philippines' appeals, Marcos said, but the execution prevailed because of the kingdom's strict laws. The conviction has stood and one of ours has been taken away. Very unfortunate, said Marcos, adding that the government thoughts and prayers were with the family. Good day and thank you for listening. Kakdak said the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, is providing assistance to the family, including school-age children. Repatriation of the remains was underway. The DMW has visited the family and assured them of our support on this, said Kakdak. A presidential letter of appeal is special to this case, as the president does not provide one of every Filipino abroad on death row. For instance, when there were 2 Filipinos up to lethal injection in China in 2023, the Philippines did not send a presidential appeal, although it did exhaust all other measures. The DFA said that 9 Filipinos remain on death row in Saudi Arabia as Tuesday, with reports from Bea Tupin from Rappler.com.